Moment now. I'm going to give you some background on what we have heard, what a lot of people in Kentwood have been waiting to hear since the January 5th death of David and Vivian Bauman. We understand that Higgins was arrested in Chicago. His current status is not known, if he is in fact on his way back or still in Chicago. Some other details we have learned in the last few minutes: that he was picked up and is being held on 2 outstanding charges, not homicide, but in fact for one home invasion that occurred back in September here in the city of Kentwood, as well as another home invasion and vehicle theft in the city of Wyoming that was more recent. You'll remember that Wyoming case involved a pickup truck that was taken from that home. Higgins eventually crashing that vehicle into a tree. We've had video of that incident, severely injuring himself, injuries to the pelvis, spent a couple days in the hospital, but was not arrested after that. They were still building that case. Those are the 2 cases he is being held on right now, not the double homicide here in Kentwood. We should learn more as to how that part of the case is moving along and what his exact status is, where he is being held, when he will be brought back to Kentwood. Again, a lot of folks waiting for this news, hoping for this news since the January 5th death of that couple in the Princeton Estates neighborhood here in Kentwood. Again, the Baumans found murdered in their home. Their car had been sold sometime early that morning. The car eventually found in a parking lot in Wyoming, an apartment complex parking lot in Wyoming, burning. Early on, Higgins was named as a person of interest in this case early on in the case, and as the case evolved, he became officially a suspect in the case. Problem is, they couldn't find him. They kept looking. I can tell you, we've had probably a half dozen accounts of police converging on an area, even in that Princeton Estates neighborhood, over the last week or so, looking for the suspect, still working on tips and that sort of thing. But every time, unfortunately, coming up empty-handed. A lot of concern, obviously, over the situation. Now, I'm going to back away right now. Kentwood Police Chief Tom Hillen now taking the podium here at the news conference.
Coming on such short notice, but this is an important event. I'm pleased to announce Javonte Higgins has been placed under arrest. This afternoon, we were notified by the FBI Fugitive Task Force that they had received information from the Grand Rapids Police Department that Higgins may have fled to the Chicago area. Within hours, we were notified that Higgins had been taken into custody in South Chicago's suburb of Blue Island by members of the Chicago office of the FBI Fugitive Task Force and local police department there. We do not have any details of the arrest at this time. It's important to note that early on in this case, investigators asked the assistance of the FBI Fugitive Task Force in locating Javonte Higgins. They've been working tirelessly behind the scenes in conjunction with the men and women of the Kentwood Police Department. And we'll also note that we appreciate the assistance that's been provided by the Wyoming Police Department, the Grand Rapids Police Department, the Kent County Sheriff's Office, and the Michigan State Police. It's important to note that Javonte Higgins is currently under arrest for his previous outstanding felony warrants. Chief Carmody is here, so he can address any questions you may have regarding that. He remains a suspect in our homicide investigation. In the upcoming days, investigators will present their case to the Kent County Prosecutor's Office, as well as prepare for extradition proceedings if needed. We will continue to follow up on leads to determine the identity of any other persons that may have been involved. Investigators believe that there are still individuals with helpful information regarding this case. We're hoping that with the arrest of Higgins, those individuals will feel safe enough to come forward now and speak to police. Again, anyone with information is asked to contact the Kentwood Police Department at 698-6580 or Silent Observer at 774-2345. And with that, we can take a few questions. It's important to note, though, that I do not have a great amount of detail regarding the actual arrest itself. It occurred at 3 p.m. It unfolded rapidly, and we just don't have a lot of detail concerning that event right now. But we wanted to get out to the community that he was under arrest, because I know everybody will just feel a little safer now that he's been arrested and is currently being detained.
Did Higgins resist at all?
Yeah, I honestly don't know.
How big of a play did the reward factor in this?
I have to believe it played a reward, or it played a role. However, you know, until I get to speak directly with the investigators involved, I just don't know how big a role it played.
Did you say he was taken into custody on what charges?
He would have been taken into custody on the outstanding warrants from the Wyoming Police Department incident.
Do you know if it was one particular tip that led the task force to him, or was it just the GRPD's intelligence?
I think GRPD's intelligence would have been the final tip that maybe provided a location. But, you know, until I get a chance to speak with him directly, I don't honestly know.
Do you know when you expect him back in West Michigan?
It all depends on the extradition process. It could be days.
How did he get to Chicago?
I don't know yet. How big of a role did people not talking? Was it mostly out of fear in getting in the way of picking this guy up?
You know, every day we received more tips and more information. But it's always difficult getting the exact information you need. You continually have to go back, and the more information you have, the more information you get. So it's a difficult situation, but you know, we were finally able to get enough information to get him. I'm sorry?
Was he alone?
I don't know yet.
There's a sketch out there of another person of interest. Is that sketch still somebody you're looking for?
It is. Yes, it is. And that suspect is connected to the fire of the vehicle, and we don't know what his involvement may be past that.
Have you talked with any of the family at all this point?
We have a contact with the family, and they have been notified.
Did he have a weapon
What did
on
they
him?
say?
You heard he did.
I'm sorry, what was your question
Did
again?
he have a weapon on him? You heard he had a gun.
I don't know at this time. I'm not sure.
What was the reaction of the family?
I don't know. The lead investigator has been in contact with the family.
He's in the Wayne County Jail now.
I don't know his exact location.
What is it like for you? Obviously, this has been a huge issue for the community to finally solve this. For your department, what does this feel like for you at this point?
Well, it's a good feeling. We've been working very hard, and so have the area departments. The FBI Fugitive Task Force have all played a role in it. I'm very pleased that we have him under custody at this point. I think the community will just feel a little safer now.
What was it that led you to Chicago to find him there?
I believe it was the final tip that took them in that direction.
So
Can
it
you
was,
say what that tip was?
I just don't know the answer to that yet.
so it
It's
was
early.
tips that led to his arrest.
Yes.
How large had that reward grown?
I knew it was over $10,000. I just don't know the exact number.
And that person is now eligible for that reward?
You know, a silent observer handles that process, so they will have to determine maybe that amongst other tips and how significant they were.
Has the family explained to you how they're feeling? They told you, now that you had the arrest?
You know, this has unfolded rather rapidly, and the lead investigator, who's been in contact with the family directly, has communicated with them, and I don't know what their reaction was.
Now that he's in custody, can you say anything more about how he evolved from a person of interest to a suspect to now believing that the crime is solved? How did that evolution take place?
Well, you know, in any investigation, you develop leads and other physical evidence that may help you point to a person or persons. You know, in this case, the leads and things developed enough that we were able to elevate him to a suspect. Although, you know, it's important to note that he hasn't had his day in court yet either. So the next process that we'll do here is take the evidence and information that we have, present it to the prosecutor's office with the hopes of getting a warrant.
Is there some physical evidence that ties him to the murders?
I can't really say at this time.
Was there any evidence found in the home in the Princeton Estates where he was living?
And we're not releasing that at this time.
The time to pick it, was that local or central time?
That's 3 o'clock our time.
And where was he picked up?
In the Blue Island, Chicago area.
Blue Island?
Blue Island.
Did you get assistance from Chicago police? Anyone else?
You know, to my knowledge, the Blue Island Department assisted us as well as the Chicago office of the FBI Fugitive Task Force.
Was he with friends, family?
I honestly don't know at this time.
Do you know if he had friends and family in that area that?
I don't know, Joe. I don't know.
So he was staying in that apartment?
At what apartment?
The Blue Island?
No, that's a community.
Oh, I thought you said he was found in an apartment. So where in the
No.
community was he found?
I don't know the exact location.
You talked before about the risk someone would take if they were harboring or helping him. Are there now people that have been identified that may now face prosecution or charges because they assisted him in his effort to escape arrest?
As the days proceed here, we're certainly going to be looking at that. So if somebody's had some involvement and we can prove that, we will be pursuing that, yes.
Was there any word on his condition at the time of arrest?
No, there was not. I don't know if he resisted or not. I expect that we'll be finding out a lot of these details probably in the next couple hours. You understand, of course, I didn't have an officer present when the arrest was made, so this information is coming back to us as well. But I did think it was important to get this out to the community as soon as possible, and that's why we're releasing this information, and I just don't have all the details just yet.
Who specifically notified you?
The FBI.
Is there more information you think that'll come to us tonight, like his condition?
It very well could be, yes. It's possible.
Will a team of officers from West Michigan now go there to get him, interview him, or will you wait for him to come back with marshals, or how works it?
Well, we'll have to start the extradition process and just see where that takes us.
Can you question him over there before the extradition process begins?
I suppose that's always a possibility. I just don't know where he's in custody right at this point, and whether or not the FBI have questioned him already, I'm not aware of that yet.
What would you say for your department, this being obviously, like I mentioned earlier, big for the community, but for you, I guess solving this case at this point, in recent memory for your department, how big this is in your career?
Well, this is an important step, although he's a suspect in a crime, and we have a lot of work ahead of us. We have to obtain a warrant. There'll be court proceedings. So we're maybe moving into step 2 of the investigation. So there's a lot of work to be done yet. Yet I'm still confident that the investigators will have the information they need in order to obtain the homicide warrant, and then we'll proceed from there.
And Chief, in Wyoming, could you say a little bit about the specific details that he's currently being held on? What crime is alleged he committed in Wyoming?
Yeah, there's 4 felony warrants that were issued for him, 2 home invasion, or 1 home invasion and a home invasion 2. The unlawfully driving away of a vehicle or auto theft, and also felony fleeing and looting.
And these were in December?
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much for coming.
If you guys need, I got some copies of the, we'll be shooting this out to the email as well, so if you want, I got 2 copies. You can pass them around.
If we have more information tonight, we'll send out some sort of